First Lady Jill Biden was addressing Hispanic voters in San Antonio, Texas, when she decided it might be a good idea to compare them to a food item. Let's watch.
Raul helped build this organization with the understanding that the diversity of this community, as distinct as the bogedas of the Bronx, as beautiful as the blossoms of Miami, and as unique as the breakfast tacos here in San Antonio.
I personally wouldn't want to be compared to a food item. You know I look like a snack here and there, but don't want to be called a snack by the First Lady. Let me just also note that she said, I think she tried to say bodega, but said bogota?
The bogedas, yeah.
Which is, in Colombia, it's a little different from bodegas. Anyway, I don't know, was that written in her speech? That's what I want to know. Did someone think, you know what? The Hispanic voters of San Antonio would really appreciate being compared to breakfast tacos and how unique the breakfast tacos are.
Well, I have a lot of thoughts on this.
Do you?
I do. So first off, did someone write it for her? Yes, of course.
Fire that person.
The First Lady, as far as I know, all of the things that I have seen reported, they never write their own speeches. Do they edit their own speeches? Do they look at their own speeches? If they're good, yes, they do, right? And so she has to approve it in some way, right, for it to go out there. So she's partly responsible for it, and whoever wrote it is partly responsible. But at the end of the day, she's the one saying it, so that's that, right? So it only shows that both her and the writer are out of touch. So am I offended that she's comparing a group to a food item? I'm not. Right, everybody's got a different, barometer for being offended. Like if they said, Cenk is as tasty as a shish kebab, I would find it curious.
No, that would be amusing. I mean, that's endlessly amusing.
Yes.
But that's like one person comparing an entire group of people to a breakfast. Look, in the grand scheme of things, and considering all the missteps we've seen by the Biden administration, this is a nothing burger. So let me be clear about that, okay? I'm trying to.
Are you comparing them to a food item and calling them a nothing burger? No, the controversy is a nothing burger. Got it.
The controversy is a nothing burger.
Okay.
So I don't mean to be overly critical over this one, in my opinion, dumb statement that was written in a speech that she gave in front of Texas. However, maybe reconsider it, right? I mean, you want to be complimentary to Hispanic voters in San Antonio, try to be a little more creative than comparing them to breakfast items. Again, for me, it's just this, it's not just the fact that she compared them to a breakfast item, it's the fact that for some reason, the Latino population and how they feel about certain things continues to get ignored. And let me also be clear that the Latino vote, it's not a monolith, right? To say all Hispanic voters are the same, they have similar voting patterns, that's just not true. So that already is an issue. But what I also find interesting is, despite polls indicating that they don't like, white liberals changing their language and using terms like Latinx, Democrats keep using Latinx, like they don't care. They don't care how Latino voters feel about it. So let me give you the details. The Latinx inclusion luncheon at the Grand Hyatt on the San Antonio Riverwalk was part of the UnidosUS Annual Conference. So if you guys can notice from the graphic, inclusion is spelled with an X, Latinx obviously spelled with an X. The conference is a yearly event held for people to collaborate on issues that include housing, health, racial equality, or equity, I should say, education, diversity, and inclusion. Now, the point of the conference sounds perfectly fine, it sounds wonderful. But remember, just 2% of Hispanics use the term Latinx. 40% find it offensive, according to a poll that was done in late 2021. When it comes to the term Latinx, 40% say that they actually find it bothersome to offensive or offensive to some degree, while 30% said they would be less likely to support a politician that used the word. So why does the mainstream Democratic Party insist on continuing the usage of that word that the Hispanic population in America does not like? I don't get it.
Yeah, so look, the real issue here, as much as there is a real issue, is that politicians and especially Democrats are unbearable pander bears, and also out of touch with the communities that they claim to be representing. So for example, when Latinx came out, I was like, I've never heard of anyone who's Latino using Latinx. So let me ask around. I asked a couple of Latino friends, including, by the way, people who work here, and they're like, yeah, never heard of it, hate it, totally made up, okay? And it's something that was made up at Oberlin or wherever it was, right? At some liberal arts college. And then foisted upon the Latino community as if they asked for it. And so it's inauthentic. It's exactly what people hate about politicians. And so when you go to an event like this, the goals, as Anna said, is a perfectly good goals for all those things. Equity, inclusion, all those things are great, right? I don't want people to mistake what we're saying. But you know what would help a lot better, a lot more than like talking about, oh, you guys remind me of breakfast tacos and burritos or burritos or whatever you guys call them, right? So is saying, hey, you know what? Good news, guys. I'm here to deliver higher wages, child tax credit, paid family leave. Latinos would love that. They would love that. If you had higher wages, that alone would do the job. Don't pander to them. Actually deliver for them.
Deliver. And pandering includes pretending like you care about equity, pretending like you care about educational opportunities for people, and then not actually delivering on it, right? Telling people what they want to hear and then refusing to actually fight on behalf of those issues. And let me just obviously acknowledge this is the First Lady. She has no legislative authority. She just happens to be the wife of the President of the United States, who doesn't fight for anything, really. Let's just keep it real. Completely flat-footed on every issue, even though you can see it happening from a mile away. Whether it's abortion, whether it's immigration-related issues. I mean, one failure after the next, and of course, mainstream Democratic voters hate hearing me say that, but what do you want me to do? You want me to cheerlead for failure? I don't cheerlead for failure. That's not what my job is, so sorry.
Oh, that's definitely what they want, by the way. And look, Jill Biden's the least guilty here, so yeah, I mean, she shouldn't have written that, or she shouldn't have read that stuff. She should have edited it out, etc. But she's not the one that failed. She's just asked to give a speech. She's doing the best she can. It's her husband that's the real problem. He delivered absolutely nothing, zero, or as they would say, nada for Latino voters. And so that's the real problem. This is just a cosmetic optics problem.
Yeah, and please, you're being very offensive. It's not nada, it's nadex. Okay.
Yeah, nadex. I mean, what an absurd thing. Imagine if they start all of a sudden they start calling Turks.
Don't give ideas. Don't give ideas.
I know. If they start calling Turks, which I am, Turk X or Turk Y. Why? Like, no. It's absurd. It's absurd, right? And by the way, when you do the small absurd things like birthing mothers and Latinx, and look, I had folks on talking about it. If you want to be called a birthing mother, no problem. If you want to call everybody a birthing mother instead of a woman,
it's not even
birthing, or a mother.
It's not even birthing mother.
I'm sorry, it's not birthing
person.
Birthing person. That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
I can understand why people who identify as women don't want to be referred to as birthing person.
No, but that's the thing.
Like, look, of course, if we're talking about someone who's transgender, and they identify as male, but they still have the capacity to get pregnant and give birth, and they want to be referred to as birthing person. Obviously, 100% support that. Yeah. Anyway, but I don't agree with getting mad at women, specifically women who don't want to be called birthing person. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. And so, guys, look, I had an interview. You should check it out in the conversation with one of our own contributors who's trans, and we talked about birthing person versus mother and who it should apply to. But guys, you have to understand that there's a cost to that, right? So when you say birthing person and that like weirds people out, you say Latinx and that weirds people out, then we lose on $15 minimum wage and we lose on Medicare for all and we lose on all these super important issues that we would all benefit from. Why? I know it's not fair, but that's when the corporate media jumps in with corporate Democrats and corporate Republicans and goes, aha, progressives, we should ignore their entire agenda because they once said Latinx and breakfast tacos. Right? So don't ever give anybody better health care or wages. So don't get distracted. Stay on our issues, which are enormously popular. Enormously popular. That's what people want to eat for breakfast. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. I really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.